Estate Planning Made Practical. Adapted from a previously published article written by Lee Ki-Chuan, a chartered financial consultant, due to much effort by will writing franchises, and other financial services organizations like the banks, to promote the importance of having a valid and complete will. I think there is an increasing level of interest and awareness on the necessity and importance of leaving a valid will when we pass on. In fact, having a will written is part of a broader area of estate planning, which involves the process of providing, preserving, distributing your assets, with the intention of making sure your financial family affairs are in order when you are no more around. There are 3 reasons why you should seriously plan for your loved ones and your estate. Firstly, present law of distribution in Malaysia. The Distribution Act 1958, amended in 1997, determine how your assets will be distributed if you don't have a will. In fact, the act is not meant to be a solution, because of its rigidity of specifying who will be inheriting your estate and in what proportions. The recent amendment of including the surviving parents may be lauded, for the intention of creating a more caring society, but in practice, it may be a nightmare for those who are left behind to share or distribute your estate. For example, when a man dies without a will leaving behind his widow, parents and children, the law dictates that the widow will get 1/4 of everything he owns, the man's surviving parents will get another 1/4, and the balance will be shared equally among his children. Where the deceased was married with no child, the amendment provides that the widow will share the estate with the surviving parents of her late husband in equal proportions. In practice, the poor widow suddenly finds there are other joint owners in the house. A house that the wife and children are staying is not like a birthday cake that can be cut and give it the other party. The situation will become more complicated in cases when the parentess dies while waiting for the estate to be distributed. That 1/4 will then be shared among the brothers and sisters-in-law of the widow, which will lead to more complications. Having a valid and complete will helps to prevent such complications from happening. Secondly, less problems, less heartache, less stress for everybody. When you pass on, you should be leaving something behind, which your beneficiaries will talk positive about you, rather than leaving behind a mess. Or worse, there were cases where the deceased left the family members financially exposed, and the widow had to bear the burden of paying off the outstanding debts. As a thoughtful person, you may want to make provisions to cancel all your financial liabilities, for example, bank mortgages, overdrafts, credit card bills, car loans, outstanding income taxes, business debts, bank guarantees, and others. Under the law, when a person dies without leaving a will, everything you own will be frozen. Of great significance to a widow especially, are your bank accounts, safe deposit box where important papers are usually kept, including life insurance policies. In a recent death claim referred to me, the poor family members could not have access to the savings and the last paychecks of the deceased and his EPF money, without nomination, while all the daily household expenses continued, monthly car and mortgage installments, school fees, food bills, etc. The letter of administration took a long time to come out. The life insurance death claim was also delayed, because the life insurance company insisted letter of administration must be furnished before they could process the claims, as his life insurance policy did not have proper nomination. With a will and a properly drawn-up estate plan in place, you will not only avoid all these problems and heartaches, you will also help your executor save valuable time and costs of distributing your estate to your intended rightful beneficiaries. Thirdly, you have control. Using your will as one of the basic estate planning tool, you can leave behind your instructions and the best arrangement for the people you loved. For a person who is married with children, it is important to think about who can be your children's guardian if something were to happen. It is even more critical if double tragedies happens to both husband and wife, leaving behind young children. Other than that, you may want to set aside enough financial resources so that the children can be adequately provided for. Some people may be concerned that their beneficiaries are too young or not mature enough to handle outright ownership of all the assets. You can actually place some personal instructions in the will, or set up a trust, on how your estate should be handled. This is important, as some of us may have known of cases where their beneficiaries have squandered their parents' hard-earned money. For business owners, you may like to see the orderly succession of your business or the shareholdings you have in business ventures. If your present business is worth building, it is worth keeping. It will be well worth your effort to think about how you can pass on the business that took you years to build to your beneficiaries without the loss of market value. There were cases whereby the business had to be sold at a huge discount of the actual value due to the untimely demise of their owners. With proper planning beforehand, The value of your business can be preserved, so that the beneficiaries will not have to force sell your assets, due to following reasons. A. Beneficiaries are unable or incompetent to continue the business. B. Inadequate cash in the estate, therefore, widow have to raise cash urgently to settle liabilities or expenses which were not allocated or planned for. C. The widow is under pressure to sell to other partners in a lose-win situation. This is why estate planning is an important part of financial planning and the most practical way of planning for your loved ones and your estate. Lee Ki-chuan is a licensed financial planner. He holds a BA from National University of Singapore, and is also a chartered life underwriter, USA, and is also a